I am Danny Smith. I am an intern at Lucky Strike Corporation, which is an extension of Raging Waves.
Question 1. Rate your overall communication skills on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. Give an example from your past work or internship experiences that support your rating.
Okay, so if I were to honestly rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give myself an 8.6. I have a tendency to try to naturally take over and lead, and I feel like stuff like that goes a long way. But an example from this past internship was when I was aiding guest service, which was week 2 of the internship. I had the opportunity to print out a handful of schedules for surrounding managers throughout the park. And unfortunately, one of the managers showed up late. And the managers usually delegate the work to other people. They'll send someone to go to parking to help get cars within the park. They'll send someone to the kiosk to help with the cabanas. Well, like I said, the manager wasn't there. So, me being the intern and I had a walkthrough on what to do, I took over the task of sending people to their respective spots.
Question 2. Tell me about a time when you had to communicate with a team to complete a group project. What was your role and how did you ensure everyone was on the same page?
Okay. A time where I completed a group project. I guess you could say today. Today wasn't anything crazy, but it's the most recent example. Today, me, a kid named Anthony, and a girl named Alexa, which are the other interns, we were tasked with assembling radios and then finding them to go to a respective spot. For instance, we have a restaurant within the park called Boomerang Grill. Well, they get their own radios. However, we recently had a surplus of radios, therefore, we were able to distribute them to get one more. And me, Anthony, and Alexa were tasked with finding the spots that need radios that have yet to be labeled, because we would put Boom Grill right across the front of it, so it indicates this is where it goes when it needs to be returned. So we broke into groups of basically one, but the three of us all were tasked with finding what radio went here, who needed a new radio, and who needed a sticker put onto the radio. And we all kind of assumed the role of leader in our own ways, because Anthony was building the radios. I was going to different restaurants, kiosks, different manager areas, even the supervisor posts, checking to make sure their radios are all labeled. And if they weren't, I would then radio into Alexa, who was on the label maker, and she would print out the respective label, and then I'd come run it, apply it, call it a day.
Question 3. Give me an example of a time when you were able to adapt your communication style to suit the person you were communicating with.
Okay. So I'll use the aquatics department, which was the 4th of July weekend, this past weekend. We have specific lingo that we use when we are interacting with a GID, or a guest in distress. It's like an acronym, right? GID, guest in distress. And so there's specific lingo that we use, so we will be able to coordinate with EMS, God forbid that we need to call emergency services to come to the park. So this past weekend, we had a lifeguard who wasn't necessarily well versed in all the lingo and stuff like that. So I took the time to review the lingo. I'd be like, this is a seal easy, which is something we apply to someone's face to prevent us going mouth to mouth with them. It creates a little bit of a filter, and it has this metal, or I don't want to say metal, but plastic piece that every time you inhale, it gets lifted up and collects the germs, all the saliva, anything that could contaminate the patient and send them further than they already are, south. But I took the time with a kid, we call him House, funny guy actually, and we just went over the lingo, and our manager surprised him with kind of like a pop quiz. Well, kid did great. Kid excelled at it, and he appreciated me for taking the time to help him.
Question 4. Describe a time that you did not communicate effectively. How did you resolve that situation?
Okay. So, my first week of the internship, I was with the foods department. Well, the foods department, they go through different stuff when it comes to cleaning an ice cream machine, to cleaning a grill, to releasing grease, because we have something called grease pits, where we put this grease and a truck will actually come from a separate company and take it for us. They'll collect it. However, I was tasked with cleaning the ice cream machine with the supervisor and the manager. However, we didn't necessarily communicate very well. And something about the ice cream machines is it's all about pressure. So there's this front panel, like I have new respect for McDonald's, I really do. There's this front panel on the front that applies pressure that keeps everything circulating just from this panel being applied to the front of it. Well, one of the screws, because the screw occupies each of the corners, so top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. The top left screw wasn't driven in very well, therefore the pressure was distributed unevenly. And we didn't communicate that within ourselves. Then the ice cream machine proceeded to get revenge on us for taking so long to get it operational and spewed ice cream on everyone in the immediate area. So the people working the kiosks, the two people uninvolved in it, had ice cream all within their body. They like everywhere. The supervisor, manager, and myself were walking out dripping in ice cream, and it all could have been avoided if we communicated better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.